One exercise that works so well for singers when singing through that break in their voice is the speech singing exercise. And what it is just talking up high on pitches that you would potentially sing on, Sing, sing. And it's very natural, so you already know how to do it, and it gives you that clarity of voice and coordination through your body to be able to deliver the sound as you'd want. So what we can do is say anything. It doesn't matter what it is. You could take some text and read it off. You could also just speak and make things up as you're going. But we're going to just go up and down in our vocal range. And for this exercise, keep the vocal tones a little bit higher because we're using this exercise to warm up and strengthen and develop our sensorial experience in that break part of the voice. And you're just going to go up and down. There are no right or wrong notes, but you're just going to feel what it is like when you place the sound higher in the mask. So I'm going to make something up right now and talk, and I'm just going to demonstrate. So right now, we're explaining the speech singing technique, and I'm going up and down, and as I'm stretching and going way up in my voice and talking like this, I can feel the sound go up and down. And what I'm doing is I'm actually talking on different pitches. When we're speaking, we are talking on pitches that we sing. Singing, we just hold those pitches longer and we make them a little prettier. So when I'm up here and talking, these are pitches that I'll sing, like I gave an example earlier. So up here, here, up, here. See? You already know how to do it. So we're just going through those pitches and then we can hold them a little bit longer. And another thing that you can do with the speech singing exercise is to call out to someone who is across the street. You've got to get their attention. And you're going to say, hey, hey, hey. And it's not going to be, hey. They're not going to hear you. Make sure they can hear you. This is urgent. Hey. Hey, 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 hey. And that's how you access that mixed part of your voice in a healthy way, because when you're speaking this way, you also feel it engage here in your intercostal muscles, through the muscles in between your ribs. The lungs and the rib cages are expanded. The diaphragm is naturally expanding down and out. You're lifted in your chest. Hey! So that's a really great way that you can develop that break. And I'll tell you, for me personally, I grew up doing a lot of pop and musical theater at first, and that was really grounded in the chest voice. So the chest voice has always felt home to me, and belting, like bringing that chest voice up. Then when I went to do opera, the technique was bel canto, and it was bringing that top voice down. And I still find that it's useful to incorporate the bel canto techniques for singing high notes in pop music, but it doesn't serve us so much for the middle voice in pop music. The earlier style of pop and musical theater, that type of approach is more fitting stylistically with the tone. And so I remember I would be singing more like pop-esque songs after I decided to leave opera and go more into pop and jazz. And I would be bringing a lot of my head voice down, had a very breathy voice in that passaggio area of my voice, B, C, D, roughly in that area of the voice. And then I was working with this one teacher who was explaining that for me, it sounded like if I wanted to sing a hey, I would sing hey. He explained to me that it sounded like I had an affect on my voice. Like I was trying to make it sound a certain way to communicate to the audience and the listener. But what we want to do as singers is we want to remove any obstacle that's between us as the artist, like any affect in between, and the listener. So taking away what we think it should sound like, getting it out of the way, and just being direct. And the speech singing exercise is so direct. It's what we learn as babies. When a baby is screaming, crying out for help, they are using the same muscles, the same coordination as what we're doing in the speech singing technique. So you've already got this within you. It's more a matter of reigniting it and using it and applying it to singing. Vowels and consonants. These together help you strengthen your vocal technique so that you have health and vibrancy. And then also using them with awareness, you can develop your signature sound. So let's talk about exercises that we can do. Let's start with tongue trills. There are 3 camps. One would be people who have been able to do them from a young age based on language and just goofing off, being able to do them. Then there are people that have the capability of doing them, they just don't know how. And then it is true that some people will not be able to do them based on their tongue and their natural physical formation in their mouth. If you cannot do a tongue trill, but you could be capable of doing it, you can learn. I learned when I was 14. I thought I never could, but I'll give you an exercise that helped me. The exercise is ta-ra-ta-ta. And I've used this with students of mine who had not been able to do a tongue trill, and now they have. So I know it works for sure. Ta-ra-ta-ta. So it's ta, ra, R-A, ta, ta. I actually learned how to do this when I was in Carmen with the Washington Opera in the children's chorus. And one of our songs we had to go ta-ra-ta-ta, ta-ra-ta-ta. And I didn't know how to do it, but if you just say the ta and the ra really fast, almost like the ra is a D, the tongue starts to roll really fast. And so I think this exercise is so useful. I was practicing this around my house and suddenly it came, like, wait a minute, never knew it happened. So ta-ra-ta-ta. And let's say it ta-ra-ta-ta with a D. Ta-ra-ta-ta, 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 ta-ra-ta-ta. And I like that rhythm. You can play with it and vary it up, but ta-ra-ta-ta, ta-ra-ta-ta, ta-ra-ta-ta. Let's do that. Ta-ra-ta-ta, ta-ra-ta-ta. Excellent. So practice that on your own. Once you start to feel it vibrate a little bit, what it feels like inside of the mouth, ta-ra. So we have the teeth. These are the teeth. This is the bottom of the mouth. This is the soft palate. Let's say this is the tongue actually. The tongue presses up against the roof of the mouth. Tar, tar. It's not so far that it's touching the teeth. It's a little bit behind the teeth. Tar. And it's hitting right at the point where there's a curvature from the hard palate into the top teeth, and the tongue presses up against the roof of the mouth, and it's very light, like a butterfly. Ta-ra. Now, experiment with moving your tongue forward, a little more central, backwards, and you're going to feel where it becomes easier. Then just do that a little bit more. Play around with it. Tar. If you're moving your tongue too far back, it kind of gets a little stuck. Tar. If it gets too far forward, for me, it starts to feel a little airy, breath coming through there. Tar. Now, once you can do that tongue trill, let's do it on some voiced notes. See, I broke it. And the reason was there is that I was not continuing to send my breath through. So, reminder, keep your breath one solid stream of air and going out forward, like there's something endlessly pulling it from you, or it's endlessly continuing out. And then you stop the breath rather than the breath stops before your voice stops.